Larry, what the hell are you doing?
Larry!
Larry, you can't just... Oh,
Larry! Oh, are you all right? How did...
Larry! Righto, what's going on here?
Oh, sir, I'm arrested. Oh! Oh,
And we're back, y'all. Back again for episode 2 of The Rings of Power. Alright, let's get into it. We open to a map of Middle-earth, and here we see some more black goo stuff spreading from Mount Doom to Khazad-dûm, whatever. I guess Sauron can control tectonic plates now, or I don't know what that is. I'm gonna be honest, these two actors are putting on some of the best performances in the show, and I think the views of Khazad-dûm are beautiful. It's awesome to see Moria, Khazad-dûm, in all of its splendor before the fall. It's awesome to see these dwarven plot lines. Honestly, I think might be my favorite in the show. I mean, just seeing a dwarven marketplace is cool. You know, it's not just mines or dwarves in battle or whatever. That's all we really see in like The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, but we just get to see dwarves living their everyday lives. We get to see the dwarven kings. We get to see a throne room. I actually appreciate this. It's cool. We can see here that Durin the Younger and Disa have been cast out by their father, and they've fallen on hard times, and the Black Goose somehow creates an earthquake in Khazad-dûm, and it causes the mirrors that reflect the light into the city to be damaged or blocked, which is all playing into Sauron's plan. Somehow that happened. Heading back to London, we see Galadriel in makeup for the first time, and I'm gonna be honest, she cleans up well. I mean, not bad. But of course, we soon realize it's a nightmare. A manifestation of the fears and doubts of the ring given to her by Elrond, and also a manifestation of the guilt she feels for basically emotionally attaching herself to the person she didn't realize was Sauron. Worst yet, she's having this nightmare during a battle strategy meeting, sleeping on the job. And speaking of this meeting, it's not really clear what strategy Gil-galad even chooses to attack Mordor. They said, should we sail up the river? Should we attack from the east, the west? She says, make the preparation.
It would be wiser to attack Adar from the east.
We should send ships up the Anduin, invade Mordor from the west.
See to the preparation.
And then it's like, well, which strategy did you choose? It doesn't matter. I'm sure you went with Gal's strategy, even though she just woke up from a K-hole, or I guess an S-hole, and even mentions right after, he mentions that her thoughts are on other things.
It does not take the eye of an eagle to see your thoughts have flown far afield.
So I don't know why he would even take her opinion on the matter, but whatever. In this scene, Gal tells Gil-galad that she thinks Sauron will seek to craft more rings.
He needs not armies, rings, and he cannot craft them without Celebrimbor.
And for some reason, Gil-galad just shrugs this off. I'm not sure why.
Sauron is alone, without army or ally. Region is protected by 2 rivers with miles of curtain wall of Celebrimbor, and the secrets of his craft are safe.
Sauron is literally back. Their main enemy is back, and he's just like, nah, Aregion's fine. Especially since Gal knows Sauron best, but whatever. And an interesting moment here.
But rings, and he cannot craft them.
Gil-galad hides his ring when Gal mentions that the rings might be a part of Sauron's plan. I'm not sure if there's any indication that the elven rings have the same corrupting draw that the One Ring has. To avoid spoilers, I will say that eventually one or more of the elven rings change hands, and no fingers were bitten off to facilitate this. But in the show, the elven rings are shown to be a covetous item. Sure, whatever. Anyway, Gal is petitioning the king to be sent to Region because, yeah, obviously Sauron wants the rings. She knows this. Also, she wants Sauron. And again, we have this weird closeness with Galadriel and how Sauron in the scene, like she still sees him as Halbrand.
It is said that once the deceiver obtains a being's trust, he gains the ability to sculpt their very thoughts, to deceive not only their heart and mind, eyes and ears, to alter their very reality. You have already been affected once.
Yes, he knows my mind.
You once considered him a friend.
Halbrand was not.
Sauron.
Like this lady, the lady is freaking smitten. Like, do not allow her anywhere around Sauron. She cannot be trusted around this man without post-nut clarity. Sauron in Eregion is refusing to leave.
The Lord of Eregion is asking you.
Perhaps I'll just wait here, just in case he changes his mind.
Which, okay, like, just throw him out? What is this? Like, you have soldiers, you have guards, throw his brooding ass out on the curb. Anyway, we see that someone, no one knows who, is ambushing the messengers from Linden, and oh no, who attacked them? Who knows, but it's perfect for Sauron, and I truly wonder if the show will actually ever say who attacked these messengers. I have a sinking feeling it won't. So we know now that Celebrimbor's in the dark about Sauron, even though Elrond and Gal could have told him before they left Eregion, but whatever. Again, why don't they just throw House Sauron out? Nobody knows why. He's hurt. Who cares? Who cares? Gal told you don't talk to this guy, but he just gets to hang out in the courtyard? Whatever. Okay. Transported back to Rune, and we have a creepy wizard guy doing a ritual to bring back, Grim Shady, who's apparently his most powerful acolyte. But even though he just did some sanguine ritual and disturbed all these moths from their busy day to bring back Feminem, he decides to go with the Tusken Raider, who has leprosy, I guess? And why? Because he'll use the halflings as hostages? Why can't his acolytes just use the halflings as hostages? Or because we already saw him fight the Two Pale crew in season 1? Shut up, this time Gandalf is gonna magic away some Tusken Raiders. Consume and be happy. Back to Gandalf and the Harfoots, and we have, from what I can tell, another lifted scene from the Jackson Lord of the Rings trilogy. Nori and Poppy apparently found themselves an elven cloak in one of those blackberry bushes because they pulled the exact same trick Frodo and Sam did in Two Towers outside the Black Gates of Mordor.
They're still close. Mount up!
The only thing that happens in this scene is that the crew realizes that they're being followed by not friendlies and decide to take the trail that looks dangerous in order to avoid capture. A trail I'm sure the Sand People know about anyway, but whatever. Back to Khazad-dûm and things are getting dire. With no sun, no crops, and the Stone Singers not able to find a place to dig. And just to take a beat here, I think a lot of people were confused about what the Stone Singers were trying to do exactly. I interpret it as some sort of dwarven echolocation, and they're looking for a safe path through which to dig, and they can't find any path that wouldn't collapse. And I think that's just what they're doing. I'm not sure if singing can open holes or if singing can, break rock. I don't know the specifics, but that's what I took from that. We have a scene between King and Disa, and again, Disa is awesome. I just feel bad that her actress was forced to parade herself out in those press junkets before the show, because I think her performance is great. I enjoy watching her. But anyway, Disa and Durin the Elder talk about the quarrel between the two Durins. I honestly sort of like the parallel that they're drawing between this divide between the king and his heir and the declining health of the kingdom.
No wonder we can't hear the mountain. Its king is deaf to the sorrow of his own son.
Still your axe, Disa!
We can't hear the mountains anymore.
I think it feels like a very Tolkien motif. I appreciate seeing it. Again, I just like the Dwarven storylines. See, I don't hate this show, or at least there are things that I can praise about this show. We see Durin the Younger getting humbled, digging in some mines, getting bullied, which is honestly a good sign for a future great king. I feel like in myth, the best kings are the ones who were humbled in their youth before they were crowned. And I like to see this for this character. I hope it changes and matures the character in positive ways. I don't know what it is about the Dwarven storyline. I don't know why it's so enjoyable. Maybe the Dwarves are just thought of by fans to be a more emotive race than the Elves, so we just get more range from these two, or from all the Dwarven actors. Maybe they're just putting on some great performances, but I enjoy and I'm invested. Anyway, back to Elrond and Gal. And again, we are really laying this Gal and Sauron shipping fanfiction out on the table, and it's weird. It's weird. I'm gonna keep saying it. I hate it. I really hate it. Why is it that just because Gal's a woman and Sauron is a man, well, you know what I mean, male and female, you know what I mean, that there needs to be this sexual tension between them? Like, this whole scene is full of innuendos.
The High King believes that if I were to face the enemy alone, I may be vulnerable to deception.
And why would he think that?
Stop it, Elrond. Because he is right. Sauron used me, and under his hand I was played like a harp to a melody not of my choosing.
It was entirely of your choosing. Sauron looked inside you and plucked the very song of your soul, note by note. You gave him everything he wanted and then thanked him for it, making himself out to be exactly what you needed, the lost king who could ride you to victory, could ride you to victory, ride you to victory.
And then we cap it off with this longing look between Gal and Sauron, like, look at that. What is that supposed to mean? Please, someone get my girl Galadriel a towel to sit on. And with all this, it's even crazier that Galadriel has a ring when we know Sauron has a hold over her. Why does she get a ring? Celeborn and Elrond were there at the forging as well. Why do neither of them get a ring? I know it's because Elrond won't use it, but is Eregion not also fading? Is it only Lindon that's fading? If so, why don't all the elves just move to Eregion? That realm seems to be doing just fine, right? Whatever. This is all just so weird, especially when we know Kelborn is still alive. What did Kelborn do to deserve this, y'all? All he ever wanted to do was speak to Gandalf.
Tell me, where is Gandalf? For I much desire to speak with him.
And again, we understand why they had to kill off Kelborn, because they wanted to have this weird Sauron-Galadriel relationship. If you really wanted to have this weird Sauron-Galadriel relationship without completely dishonoring the memory and character of her husband and, daughter, maybe? Does she have a daughter yet? Who knows? Celebrian, where are you? Who knows? Who's Elrond gonna marry? Anyway, put that to the side. Here's a suggestion. Have Kelborn be missing and Galadriel searching for him, and she blames Sauron for stealing Kelborn. Maybe he's captured. Maybe he's not just ended outright like her brother, but she can feel him. She knows that she's out there somewhere in Middle-earth, and Sauron captured him or did something with him, and she's searching for him, and she won't stop until she finds him. So you still have Kelborn in the show. I mean, she literally has only mentioned him once in the entire series so far. This is her husband that we're talking about. It would be great if she was just searching for him for the whole series. And if you want, she runs into Sauron, she's like, oh, maybe he is dead. Oh, she forgets herself. If you really need to do that without just completely shoving Kelborn into the corner and making him sit in a chair and watch, like, why? Why are you doing this? Anyway, Elrond goes to Círdan for more advice, and for some reason they got rid of Círdan's sweet, sweet beard. Part of me is upset because I think the beard represents how much Círdan has actually been through. That he's the only elf with a beard. Maybe he's shaving because he's under the ring's influence or something like that. I don't know. If they try to work that in, I would like it, but if he's just shaving because he hasn't shaved in a while, I don't like that. I hope that there's a character reason for it, is what I'm saying. Círdan tells Elrond to basically love the art, not the artist. He seems quite enamored over the rings, though, and Elrond is showing himself to be on an island with this. Elrond, true to his movie counterpart, is focused on destroying the rings.
Cast it into the fire! Destroy it!
And again, he really seems to be the sensible one here. We know how things turn out, but knowing what we know so far in the show, his fears are not unfounded. So again, I like Elrond. I'm a fan of his. He's being mostly smart. He's being one of the smarter characters in the show. Anyway, transported back to and Gandalf passes out. They see a well, they get him some water, a bell goes off that Eru himself can hear, but Poppy makes no move whatsoever to quiet the bell, even though they know they're being followed. Nori can give Gandalf the water, you go back and silence the fucking bell, but whatever. It doesn't matter. And of course the Tusken Raiders show up immediately, though they must have been walking long enough for Gandalf to pass out from lack of water, but then I guess the Tusken Raiders were 2 minutes behind them? Whatever. Gandalf finds a stick used on the well. Apparently that's a magician's staff? Just sitting there? Okay. But then it's actually not a magician's staff because it gets destroyed almost immediately? Okay. They fight the Tusken Raiders, or rather Gandalf uses Gust and it's way too effective. And even though he has a staff now, but whatever, he can't control it, and Nori and Poppy are blown away to Oz. Also, quick note, Heartfoot grip strength must be superhuman because I don't know how Nori is holding herself and Poppy here with just one hand on the rope. So now we come to the hoodwinking of Celebrimbor. This scene is wonderful and painful. Okay, I need to take a bit here. Let's go through the scene a bit. First, things I like. There are a few good jokes,
Are you weeping? No.
And my favorite joke of the scene will set up my next point.
I'm going to open a first-stage bottle.
I just need to whinge a little bit about Celebrimbor's casting. Then I'll get to what else I like about the scene. This joke sounds like it should be in an episode of Frasier, the bottle of first-stage wine. And it's funny, it works, because Celebrimbor looks like he should be in an episode of Frasier. Why does Celebrimbor look like a 6-year-old preschool teacher? Who is his costume designer? What is happening here? Like, this is the Elven Smith. Have you seen Smiths? Do you think they look frail and old? I'm not trying to roast this actor. I'm not trying to... He's catching strays. He's a fine actor. He's doing what he's told. He looks how he's told to look, but he looks terrible. Have you seen some of the fan art for Celebrimbor? And in fact, and for doing this whole, this guy's getting fooled, usually in myth or in story, if you have an older or scrawnier character, usually that denotes that they are intelligent, wise. There's a trade-off there. You know what I mean? They put their points in wisdom instead of strength. But if you have a strong character, usually they're a bit dumber. And especially as a smith, I think it would have been interesting to see a big, strong, sort of dumb for an elf smith being hoodwinked by Sauron instead of this old, supposed to be wise, smart looking. Look how old he is for an elf. He should be smarter than this than to allow himself to be bamboozled by Sauron so easily, like he's a teenage girl in the Gossip Girl episode. Anyway, there's one line I really like in this scene.
I'm reveling. You have not the slightest inkling how this feels. After all this time, after so many centuries, to finally create something.
This hints, I like this. This hints to the drive, the ambition and pride that are present in craftsmen in Tolkien's universe. This is an enduring theme in his story, from Celebrimbor and Sauron to Saruman and Aule himself. Craftsmen have this habit of getting themselves into trouble. Maybe it's hubris when they see how amazing their own creations are. Maybe it's a desire to create something and be like God, and to even have a thought like that would require arrogance that would lead to your downfall. It's an interesting topic, and I'm actually happy to see it in the show. And I hope they explore it a little bit more, because I think it's a bigger subject in Tolkien's universe than people realize. Anyway, ends with the Lord of the Rings reveal. Pretty cool, pretty good score, I guess. I like it. It looks cool. I gotta give them credit where they deserve it, I guess. It looks good. All right, almost done, y'all. We see Gal and Elrond preparing to depart for Eregion. Galadriel has been stripped of her command and it's been given to Elrond. I guess this is a big deal. It shouldn't be. They're friends. They're of one purpose, and Elrond is quite capable. Why does Galadriel need to lead everything? Doesn't make sense. Whatever. Last scene, Disa and Durn summoned to Eregion by Anatar and Celebrimbor, and we end there. All right, y'all. Thanks for sticking with me through this. This episode was a bit better, I guess, because we got dwarves in this episode, so, already bumps it up. No floopy Venom symbiote flopping down a mountain for 20 minutes. There's a lot that I really wanted to go into, but it would have made this video a lot longer. I might just release a super in-depth breakdown at the end of the season. Who knows? But either way, please like, subscribe. If you liked what you heard, even if you didn't, subscribe anyway. Come on, don't be an asshole. I'm going to be putting out videos. You're going to love it. Subscribe, ring the bell, drop a comment, tell me what you thought. Did I miss anything? What did you think of the episode? I'll see you in the next one. Love and peace.
Listen to your guts.